Last episode, I built 11 giant greenhouses and crammed them full of crop farms, and I'm happy to say they've all been working a treat, but this area still looks absolutely horrific. We've got a lot of work to do around here today, because although the farms are up and running, it just really does not look good around here at all, apart from this one here, which looks okay, I guess, but still doesn't really have any theming. I mean, we can make crates of things, I think, like crates of carrots and onions and potatoes and so on. I think we're definitely going to make some good use of those. But as well as directly around the greenhouses, we do, of course, need to sort out all of this and sort of create the farm entrance. We need storage because at the moment everything's just getting stored underground and, well, that's no good to us. It's not really accessible down there. And then we're also going to need a way to transport all of the food from over there over to here as well, because I think I want to have this as like my main storage depot, which means our tractor that does the harvesting might end up with a second job. Maybe we can have him dragging a trailer around or something, who knows. But first things first, let's try and make this area look a little bit nicer.
Hello? Hello? There you are. I've been looking all over for you.
Hello? What do you mean you've been looking over? What? Who are you?
I just was over by that beautiful house of yours. That is a really, really lovely build.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's such a shame, though.
What's such a shame? What are you saying about my build?
No, the build's beautiful.
Right.
It's that tree outside. Yeah, what can we say about that?
Nothing. I'd rather you didn't say anything about that tree.
I mean, to be honest, probably the less said about it, the better.
It's got a light on it. It's got a dangly bit.
It has, and that is its sole redeeming feature. It's a lovely, lovely farm. It does seem to be lacking a certain level of arborealness, though.
Tree? Do you mean trees? Does that mean trees?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes,
yeah. Trees. Yeah. Yes. It definitely needs some trees.
It does. And today is your lucky day.
Have you got some more saplings for me?
No, I have something far better, sir. If I can just let you have a look at this.
Okay. Whoa! Jeez. Okay. That actually just made a giant tree blueprint appear in front of me. Oh. Okay, I like custom trees. You're selling custom trees.
I am, sir. I am.
I'll take it.
That you haven't even asked me the price yet.
It's fine. I'll pay whatever. How much is it?
It's one. It's one.
One? I can do one.
Yeah.
I've got. There we go. Boom.
No, sir. 1,000.
Excuse me. What?
One. I mean, you see
1,000 diamonds.
Yes, you see the difference between the. I hate to call it a monstrosity, but I can't think of anything else that truly describes it.
I think you're probably right there. Yeah,
and
that's
this
fair.
thing of beauty.
Okay, I suppose it is infinite trees. 1,000 diamonds. Have you got any more?
I have got some more, sir.
Gimme. Just give me all of them. I'll take all of them. Yep.
Okay, fantastic. And yes, so price, sir. So price, obviously. There's quite a lot of
6 more trees. 6,000 diamonds.
No, sir. The tree that you got was the introductory tree, or the introductory, as I like to refer to it.
That was terrible. One.
It was.
For one, that was a terrible pun. So I'm a little bit upset about that. I might actually be more upset about that than the price. 9,000.
9,000 more diamonds, sir.
9,000 more on top of the one I've already.
Yes, sir.
It's daylight robbery. I'll be right back. I'll just go see if I've got the diamonds. I think I might have overpaid.
No, sir. That's the commission element as well that goes on top.
The commission element as well. This is daylight robbery.
Well, it's been a pleasure doing business with you. I would be lying if I said I wasn't pleased that I had happened across this place today. And yes, I look forward to seeing you again in the future.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Well, I'd be lying if I said that wasn't a strange encounter, but that does solve our tree problem, because I hate making custom trees, and this guy's just sold me 7 different ones, so yeah, that should definitely help with that problem. I mean, we're still going to have to supply all the resources ourselves, of course, but I think with those trees we should be able to bring a little bit more life to this area, and get rid of all these rubbishy vanilla trees we've got laying around. And as you can see, I have made a start on the terraforming around this area, but that's basically the only bit I've done so far. Let's get back to the time lapse, shall we? I've been had. That's not a tree. Unbelievable. But despite being ripped off on that one tree from the travelling salesman, I think they're actually looking pretty good. I've built one of each tree so far, and yeah, that really does bring a little bit more life to it. I really do like it. Other than that, I've pretty much just used coarse dirt, some stone buttons, a few bits of sort of mossy slabs, some bone meal, some moss, and so on, just to sort of decorate this area, and I think it's definitely looking a lot better around here. And I've done this backside here as well. So all in all, this side of the farm is looking pretty good. That side, I haven't touched yet. But I think I need a bit of a break from terraforming, and you probably need a break from seeing montages. So I'm going to turn my attention to storage, which I have laid out here, and yep, I'm definitely going to need to move the airship. But basically, I want this building to be central storage for everything we're producing in the farms here, but I also want it to be a central control system, so I can enable and disable these farms, and also, I think I want to put them on some kind of rotation. You may notice they're all off at the moment, and that's because there's 11 contraptions here, and when they're all running, it's a little bit framey. So I have actually added minecart assemblers at each one, so they kind of become solid objects once they get to each end, which does mean I can't really do any decorating at these ends of the greenhouse, but I think it's a much better solution in general. And I'm going to see if I can come up with some kind of system that just means only one is running at a time. I mean, with the rate things grow, we don't need them constantly going backwards and forwards. So that's going to be our task for over here, but first up, I do need to get this airship out of the way. That'll do for now, it's out of the way. Now, let's figure out a storage building. So I think we'll just start with trying to work out a rough shape for this building. Something like that, maybe. We can put a nice curved roof on it and just make it look like a big old barn, essentially. Question is, what do I want to build it out of? Certainly not stone, so let's get rid of this. And maybe for this small side bit, we could do it out of pillar blocks, make it look like a sort of corrugated metal shed on the side. That could look quite nice. And maybe to tie it in a bit with the farmhouse over there, just to show it's part of the same farm, we could use some granite, potentially. I think that could work. Let's just build this up a bit. Well, that took all of 10 seconds with the wand. Love this thing. Now let's figure out the top area. I think for that we're going to use some spruce, but which one? Just going to use some stairs and trapdoors. In fact, I think for this one here, maybe we'll put in a balcony or loading platform, that kind of thing. Not sold on that, but we'll run with it for now. Though maybe it's just these ones that are the problem. But it's certainly better. Anyway, right, let's figure out what we want to do at the top here. What do we have in our bag? Let's try something out with these mangrove planks. No, I don't think that's working. Maybe something a bit lighter. Yep, I much prefer that. Now, let's figure out a roof line next. Maybe something like that. Let's get it all filled out and see how we're looking. So I've got a roof on, and I've also added some doors. And I've even put one here at an angle just so we can actually get in and out. And I think that's coming along quite nicely. Once we get some texture and some extra details on, that should look pretty good. But first up, I want to get a rope pulley on. So let's just add some girders. We'll grab some walls so we can make a rope pulley. Stick that on the end there. And then just crank it down a little bit. Just give the bracket some extra support as well. And that should work quite nicely. So I just need to sort out this roof and get a bit of texture on, then we should be good to move inside. And there we go, something like that should work nicely. I've just added a bunch of fruit crates out the front here, sorted out the floor a bit, and of course textured the building and just added a little bit of extra detail. I've also sorted out the inside, so we've got plenty of room for storage over here. We've got an area here where we can have like a control panel for all the farms, and we've even got plenty of space upstairs, so I can set up the automation for the farms. So I'd say we're pretty much ready to start on the inside. And that whole area is starting to look pretty cool now. So the first thing I want to do is to connect up the storage. So let's see where the closest point is. Probably that bit there. Although, I think this is the actual draw controller. Yes, so it actually makes even more sense to connect it directly up to that, because then we're closer and we've got a bit more range on it. So that wants to go up to that hole there. Then what I need to do is steal all of these drawers and just replace them with a trim. And we'll just get all of these moved in here. So I've actually changed my mind and I've pulled them forward a little bit so there's plenty of space behind because, well, we're going to need to put in threshold switches and things like that to make sure that the farms don't activate when we don't want them to. But before we worry ourselves about that, I want to sort out a timing system, and that's what's actually going to control when the farms harvest. I think I've got a way we can do this. So my thinking is we'll put a pulse repeater into each one of these. And each one of these is, of course, going to be linked up to one of the farms. And then we'll just set interval timers on them. So basically, we'll have them go off every 10 seconds. In fact, I think we'll just have them fire once a minute. That'll be fine. And that basically means it's going to take 11 minutes to do a cycle, which is fine. So we'll set this last interval to 12. If I just stick a redstone loop round like that. Have a little on switch, they should all now count down. So that should fire in 1 minute, and then 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and so on. So I should probably get these linked up to some farms. It looks like carrots have just harvested and potatoes are about to. Let's go double check. So this should fire any second. Or not? Did this one fire? No. Do I need a pulse extender, maybe? So let's pick all these up and add a pulse extender. Just stick one of them on the end of each thing. Extend it to 10 ticks just to give it plenty of time. And then the redstone links will sit just behind those. I've reduced the intervals so we can see if it's actually going to trigger them. And yep, there goes the carrots. And now the potatoes. And the tomatoes should go 5 seconds later. Yep, look at that. And it appears they're all doing their thing. The sugarcane's gone, the rice has gone. The only one I got wrong, I think, was the berries. It needs to be double berries. Now we'll just leave that doing its thing. So I've just tidied up down here a little bit, and these are the food items we need to bring over, including the wheat, from the farm, which is all the way over there. And for that, I think we're going to go grab that tractor that's around there somewhere. We're going to lay some new track. We're going to have it come all the way over here. And we're going to build a little trailer that kind of gets pulled up and dropped off here, a bit like the harvester does. And then we'll just have the tractor come and pick that up as part of its route. So I think the first step in all of that is to lay some rail that follows this road, goes all the way down, comes into here, and then does a little sort of twisty-turny thing here so it can pick up a trailer. So I think I've got the rail in correctly. Let's go grab the tractor and find out. Which means you, sir, are being temporarily evicted. Sorry about that. Come down here. Let's go see if we fit. Well, it looks like that's going to work a treat. Now let's build a trailer. This shouldn't be too difficult. There we go. We have one dangerously overloaded wagon. Perfect. Now I just need to glue it all together and make it part of a train with the tractor over there. A little bit of messing around later. I think I've actually managed to get everything working now. So the tractor should back up here and grab this little wagon. And then it should hopefully... Yeah, look at that. It's heading off, and it should go and park that up all the way over there. Makes it round the corners just nicely. And then he should park up just over here. Oh, and you may notice, look, I've got real clouds. How cool does that look? I may have finally managed to get that sky texture pack to work, and it looks lovely. But anyway, the tractor's here, and it should drop that off, and then it should just go and park up. And I've basically integrated that into its cycle, so now, like, one day it will come out and it will move the wagon, another day it will take the wagon back, and then on the third day, it'll go and harvest the fields. Which is wonderful. Now we just need it to actually pick up items from here and drop them off over at the barn. So to make this work, I went underground, disassembled my tractor train, and attached a whole bunch of storage interfaces to one side. I then used item trains and drawer controller slaves and assigned one to each resource, just so that I can make sure that I don't fill up the whole tractor with wheat and not leave space for anything else. At the other end, it was much simpler. I just put one little line that'll unload the entire tractor. I mean, it's going to be there for a whole day, so that's fine. And Jeremy's now out driving the tractor around harvesting the wheat field, and hopefully when he's done, he should grab the trailer and go over there. Though it does occur to me the trailer is currently in the wrong place. So I guess we're still going to have a little bit of messing around to do, because otherwise he's probably just going to come crash into that trailer in a little while. But while we wait for that to happen, the next thing I want to sort out is a control panel for all of these farms so that we can turn them on and off individually if we get too much of something. And also up here, I'm not sure if I pointed it out earlier, but I've actually changed this up now so that the daylight sensor is what controls it. When this gets to midday, so this trail here gets to power of 15, it will then trigger the system and do the harvest. It just makes the system a bit more foolproof on server restarts and means we're only harvesting once a day, which is absolutely fine. And as you can see, it is working a treat. We've got loads of stuff going on here, although apparently we don't actually collect tomato seeds, but that's a good thing. And after the last episode, I did have quite a few questions about the glowberry farm, because people were questioning whether it'll actually work without bone meal, and I can confirm it does. As you can see here, occasionally when a vine grows, it will spawn glowberries, just naturally. In fact, there's quite a few back here, and what I've done with the harvester is make sure that it always leaves the top vine. So it's only 2 high, not 3 like it was at some point during the video, and that means that we are indeed getting glowberries, just not as fast as we're getting some of the other things. And last episode, I did also ask for some name ideas for this farm, and they're still coming in fast and strong at the moment, so we're going to do that at the end of the episode at the last possible moment, because that video has only been out for a few hours, so yeah, I think it'll be nice to give everyone a chance to put their input in. But anyway, on and off switches. How are we going to do this? Because currently there's just a redstone link on the back of the contraption, and when it receives power, it fires. However, to be able to turn the farms on and off, we basically want to flick a switch, send power somewhere, and have that turn the farm off, not on. So I think I have a potential solution. I just need to make a few changes over here to where it all gets powered. And I think we can also do this quite simply. So if we put a redstone torch there, that should set it off. Put another redstone torch in there, that's going to turn off this, and that means this is no longer powered, so it should just come into a full stop like that. So what we can then do is put the redstone link here, we'll put the filters back in for that, set it to receive, and we'll just put a comparator in there. And that should mean that anytime this now gets power, it's going to set off the machine. That's exactly what we want. However, we also want to be able to turn it off permanently, and the way we're going to do that is put another receiver here, give that a different signal, set it to receive, of course. Put that in there. And now whenever we power a redstone link with that signal, it should permanently turn off this farm, which means even if our normal timer thing gets triggered, it's not actually going to fire the farm. So we just need to do this on every single one of these. And there's probably a simpler way of doing this, but I'm not a redstone genius. I just know that this is going to work. Luckily, now I know what I'm doing. They should only take a moment. What just happened? I was trying to fix your schedule, and apparently I've just put a redstone link on this guy. I don't even know. If anyone wants to explain to me what that's all about, please do. I also can't seem to remove it. Anyway, that should be fixed. We've basically just skipped this stop, and he should go and park up, and then next morning he should come and collect that and park it over there, and that should start the whole thing again. Come on, little dude with his aerial. What's he like? Anyway, I have now got all the redstone links in, so we should be able to control the farms. I just need to actually remove all of these bits. I don't need these anymore. All right, let's build a control panel. Oh, look at that sunrise. Beautiful. And there we go. Something simple like that should do the trick nicely. We can now control each individual farm and just turn them off as and when we want to, which is lovely. And I've just added a little bit more clutter to the barn as well, just to finish it off a little bit. But I think that's pretty much done. Question is, what do we now do about these seeds? Maybe I could build a couple of big silos somewhere and just convert them into bone meal. Although that would probably look better over that side. I'll give that some thought. But in the meantime, Stamo's requested my presence. Let's go see him. Look at this. Stamo's new station. Look at this, Stam.
I have a new station.
Oh, this is wonderful.
I took it to heart when you said that it was a little tricky getting here, and I made it a little easier.
Well, it's better than yeeting myself off a train into a bunch of bandits like last time, yeah.
Fair enough. Yep, it is. It's 10 times better. Welcome to somewhere.
Somewhere. Oh, I like what you did there. So we got somewhere and nowhere.
Thank
I
you,
like
comments.
it.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah, no, I noticed you also got the movie posters. Yeah, you've gone with the beardy one.
I like the beardy one. It's a great movie. I saw it the other day. Fantastic. Arrival board, not up to date yet, but if we do head over the second set of train tracks, we have the stamp delivery train that currently has no name, but we can head inside.
This is the point where I have to act surprised and pretend I wasn't here 15 minutes ago helping you troubleshoot the boat stuff. I haven't actually seen the front of the station, so that was new. But the rest of this, it's gonna be fake surprise, okay? You ready?
Fake surprise. Yeah, I'm ready.
Yep.
Delivery train, and if we head indoors...
Delivery train! That's cool. Nice. Did you like the fake surprise? Did I pull it off?
Yeah, you pulled it off. You nailed it. If we head indoors here, we have a little flatbed, which is going to be exporting some things from the village later, along with this red container at the back.
Exporting?
But, oh, yeah. I've got to create something here. Anyways,
like
that's
that.
for later. Then we have the green container, which is yoinking stuff from your warehouse.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's what it's there for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you've got your own, like, BPD train, basically.
Exactly. I got my own. But the stamp delivery one. Without a name,
a competitor?
but it will have a name.
Oh, I'm going to have a word with the suppliers if they're supplying you as well. Speaking of which, did you steal my netherite?
No. I'm very happy with the boat. The boat, don't mind it floating in the sky, not even in the water yet. There's water further away.
This looks so cool. I feel like I'm on a jungle cruise.
Yeah, it's very nice atmosphere. I did try it out a little faster, but it looked the best when it was going slow.
I'm just going to stop my music in the edit for a minute and add some jungle sounds and get a cinematic shot. Oh, it's left me floating in the background again. That's not very cinematic. He's built an entire river. And a boat, and a train station. He's been building all the things, but it is looking lovely. I look forward to exploring it properly when it's done. However, we've got some other things we need to be doing around here for now, and the main one is sorting out what we're going to do with the seeds. Mainly the wheat seeds. We've got so many wheat seeds, it's unbelievable. So, yeah, we should turn them into bone meal and actually make something useful from them. And for that, I do want to use grain silos, but there's not really space over there. I don't want to be cramming them in, so instead, I think we're actually going to stick them over here behind the buildings, which I think is where I initially said I was going to put the vegetable farms, but yeah, that would never have fit, would it? Anyway, so grain silos. I think we're just going to go with some basic stone ones. Maybe the small stone bricks here would work quite well. Although that building there is stone as well, so maybe we could do it as the stone pillars and make it look a little bit metallic, potentially? I don't know, we'll see how it looks, but for now, we'll make a start with these. So we're going to need a nice big circle. Think about that sort of size should do it. We'll add some extra layers. Actually, I'll tell you what, that texture could work quite nicely, but we need much more. Maybe about that tall, and then we'll obviously have a domed roof on it. Size-wise from back here, I think that's going to look quite good. But we don't want just one silo, so we're going to stick another one on the side here. For the roofs, I think I want to use prismarine again, but we don't have any of that with us, so we're going to have to go grab some. Prismarine has been acquired. Let's see if we can figure out a small domed roof here. Okay, I think that almost works, but what I want to do is maybe replace this top row here with a bit of green as well. Yeah, that feels a bit better. Well, that's two very basic-looking storage silos. Let's see if we can make them look a bit more storage silo-y. But shape and size-wise, I think we're looking good. Brace yourselves, you're about to discover how little I know about grain silos. I basically looked at some pictures and tried to copy some bits, and, well, this is what we've ended up with. I mean, it looks like a grain silo if we don't look too closely, but if we do look a little bit closer, we've got an input area here. I don't really know how stuff gets onto this belt, but I'm sure the farmers do. And then the grain all goes up here, it gets scooped up, goes right to the top, and then from here it gets split into the silos, which get full up from the top, and yeah, that kind of makes sense. The bit that makes slightly less sense are these pipes sticking out the side, because obviously the grain down the bottom wouldn't get picked up. But let's just assume that the inside of these silos actually has a lovely sort of cone bit, and then that all feeds into here, and it's all lovely. But despite my complete ignorance on the matter, I think they've come out okay. And from over here, they do add a little something to the farm as well. But most importantly, what I've also done, if we go around the side here, we've got a secret door, and this is where we're going to make some bone meal. But this should be fairly straightforward, so I'll see you in a moment once it's working. A few minutes later, we've basically just got a row of composters, and we're pulling all the relevant seeds out of the system. Lots of the wheat seeds, of course, because we've got many of those. But we've also pulling out the melon seeds and the beetroot seeds. So hopefully, when I do this, then nothing happens. Maybe we have to use hoppers to feed these because things need to come out one at a time. Not to worry, slight change of plan. We'll just raise all this up by a block. Hopefully that'll work. There we go, lots of bone mealing happening. But currently, the bone meal has nowhere to go, so let's go sort that out. We'll just give that a home here. There we go. Look at all that coming in. So it's not pulling through the cabbage or beetroot seeds yet, and that's because currently we're feeding them into the system the same way we're getting the carrots for the pigs into the system. But I do actually need to give them a home, so if we do that, yep, there we go. We can see them coming in and disappearing again. The cabbage seeds should do the same, although probably not till all of them have come through, to be honest. So that's another farm off of our list, but it's not even on our list, so yeah, no satisfaction to be had there. But look at this place, it really is starting to come together. I mean, we do still need to clutter up the yard a bit, and you've all been sending in your ideas for that. And I have been compiling a list of stuff we're going to be scattering around the farm, and we'll put some of those bits over here in this area too. But before we can do any of that, we need to go back to terraforming. We've got a lot more to do because, well, we've only done this side over here, and this is looking good. This is not. So let's chuck some music on and get that fixed. think this is looking pretty good. It's certainly looking a lot more complete. We've got all the decoration in outside the greenhouses, and I've even sorted out the road out the front here. Or the back. Is this the back? I guess this is kind of the side. I also added a couple more of AD's trees in, and they really do help to pull the area together, so I do want to say a quick thank you to AD for actually coming on and selling me his tree schematics. They make a huge difference around here. I've just got a few more to sort out over this side, and I will try and make an effort in future to actually learn how to make custom trees, just probably not on this series. I've just never quite been able to pull it off. But that's enough rambling about my incompetence with trees. We've got a farm to name, and I guess that means we need to replace this sign over here. And when it comes to the farm name, there were hundreds of ideas, some of them very, very good, some of them absolutely terrible. I'm not going to call something Farmy McFarmface, but then it would have been very odd if someone hadn't suggested that, to be fair. And hopefully this works. There we go. We now have Valleydale Farms. In fact, I think I need to shrink that down ever so slightly. There we go. That's better. It's got a bit of padding now. And that looks much better. So thank you, Darius Born Dragon King. And of course, thank you to everyone else who submitted names as well. I'm sure there'll be plenty of stuff to name in future, but sadly, I think that's pretty much all we've got time for today. But I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.